Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. We're going to pick two random SoulsBorne bosses, and then they will participate in a balloon race, and whoever wins the balloon race will be the winner. Doesn't get any simpler than that. I like coming up with these simple challenges. It just takes a load off my mind. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that, personally. Anything that takes a load off my mind is a good thing these days. And, yeah. I don't see what the problem is with that. I really don't. If you got a problem, talk to my lawyer. That's all I got to say. Okay. The battlefield has been cleared. It can house any and all SoulsBorne bosses. This little generator that I've created has about 100 SoulsBorne bosses in it and some special spots in it. It has created some different scenarios over these past, what are we up to now? Almost 80 episodes. This might be episode 80. I'm not even sure. I think that it is. Should be paying better attention, but I'm not. Okay, I'm going to stop yapping, and then we are going to stop this wheel, and that will be the first participant. In the red corner, we will have the first participant in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. The Curse-Rotted Greatwood, I believe, making their first appearance in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. I'm not 100% sure on that, but yes, I believe this is the first appearance of the Curse-Rotted Greatwood. Curse-Rotted Greatwood is kind of a pain in the ass. Mostly because of how you have to defeat it, and some of the spots you have to hit on its body are just a giant annoyance. Just an annoyance, but of course everyone remembers why we know the Curse-Rotted Greatwood. We remember the Curse-Rotted Greatwood for the testicles. Yeah. Essentially the testicles. I don't know if it's actually the testicles of the Curse-Rotted Greatwood, and quite frankly, I'm not interested in doing the research. So that's just how it is. So, but yeah, that's what we all remember the Curse-Rotted Greatwood for. But yeah, there could be some interesting scenarios here in SoulsBorne Battles to the Death. So we're going to take this wheel for another spin, and we are going to see who we are going to land on to face the Curse-Rotted Greatwood in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. I could imagine some interesting scenarios here, but I'm going to try not to imagine too much, because I don't like to be spoiled. And plus, whatever I imagine is not what it's going to land on anyway. So, we have the Curse-Rotted Greatwood on one side of the battlefield, and on the other side, we have the Iron Golem from Dark Souls 1, I believe. Yes. Yes. I'm almost positive that is correct. All right, so we have the Curse-Rotted Greatwood against the Iron Golem. That is a different and interesting fight. And I don't have to alarm my lawyers by giving you any indication of who I think would win this fight. So we are going to go straight to the contractually obligated bios. So let's have a look at the Curse-Rotted Greatwood. Once upon a time, the residents of the undead settlement sealed the worst of their curses into a tree. Why the undead settlement had so many curses to deal with is never explained. Eventually, all these curses took their toll on the tree, creating the Curse-Rotted Greatwood. That is the extent of the lore of the Curse-Rotted Greatwood. But, who cares about all that? You know why you remember the Curse-Rotted Greatwood. Uh-oh. There it is. Despite being, I guess, what you would consider a gimmick boss, the Curse Rod of Greatwood is kind of a pain in the ass, because the only way you can really damage it is to damage and destroy these putrid sacks that are hanging from it, which, according to the wiki, is filled with decomposing corpses. I did not know that, so I guess I'm going to have to go back and check that out. But these sacks are on various parts of the Curse Rod of Greatwood's body, and some of them can be very difficult to get to. So, you may have to resort to, well, you may actually have to resort to waiting until, some of them are within range to, to be able to strike them and destroy them. Or, if you're an archer or if you have magic, that works out well to your advantage. But otherwise, this can be a very time-consuming fight. There is another way to damage and possibly kill the Curse Rod of Greatwood, which is attacking the giant hand that explodes from its abdomen in the second phase. It's debatable on whether this is actually a more time-consuming method. I mean, either way, you're going to be waiting. If you're a melee fighter, which I always am in Dark Souls and SoulsBorne games. But, yeah, the Curse Rod of Greatwood presents its own kind of challenges, and can be a difficult boss to fight in the sense of it's hard to damage if you're not well equipped to be able to deal with it. So, I guess that's the challenge of it, rather than being just a hard boss to fight, as most SoulsBorne bosses are. The challenge in this boss is just being able to get into position to damage it in any way. But the Curse Rod of Greatwood as a boss, I would say, could stand up to most bosses in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death. So, I mean, the Curse Rod of Greatwood showing up could be, present some interesting fights, I would say. So, yeah, I guess when the Curse Rod of Greatwood shows up in SoulsBorne Battle to the Death, you never know what you're going to get. And I think that's what we all strive for in this particular avenue that we explore. So, long ago in the Dark Souls universe, the gods created a city for themselves by the name of Anor Londo, and they created the Iron Golem to act as its guardian. It is equipped with a heavy iron axe that can set forth a very powerful force of wind, which is very useful because the area you fight him in is basically on the walls of a castle, and it's very easy to get knocked off, so that was done very strategically. After Lord Gwyn sacrificed himself to link the First Flame and prolong the Age of Fire, the Iron Golem was set to act as one of the last ritual challenges of Sen's Fortress. The gods decided that in order for anyone else to link the First Flame and keep the Age of Flame going, that they should have to go through all of these challenges, ringing the Bells of Awakening and gaining access to Sen's Fortress and then fighting the Iron Golem, because if someone wants to save the world, they should have to face a whole bunch of challenges that can stop them from doing so. I mean, we're not talking about the main bad guy here, we're talking about the gods of this world. So what that tells me is that the gods of this world does not want this world to be saved. That's just how I feel on the matter. Nonetheless, the Iron Golem has done its job well over the centuries and has slayed hundreds and hundreds of heroes that would try to gain access to Anor Londo. So there you have it. I do think this is kind of an interesting fight. The Iron Golem is very tough, and I think both bosses really, they're very similar in terms of being a little on the slow side, but also being very strong, and they can hit very hard. That being said, I don't think it's too far out of anyone's expectations to say that the Iron Golem probably has the advantage in this fight. The Curse Rod of Greatwood. I talked about gimmick bosses before. I talked about Yorm the Giant before. Against Ornstein and Smough, I think it was last week, maybe the week before. Ornstein and Smough would not have Storm Ruler to help them against Yorm the Giant. Excuse me. But the Curse Rider Greatwood's gimmick things are on his body, so they're a part of this fight. And so, that being the case, I think the Iron Golem has the advantage in this fight. All he's got to do is destroy those putrid sacks, and that's pretty much it. And he can probably do a lot of that with one swing. So, so yeah, that being the case, I think the Iron Golem wins this fight, and probably wins it pretty decisively. He could probably handle a lot of the Curse Rod of Greatwood's blows as well. So, yeah, that's my opinion. I think the Iron Golem wins this fight, but that's just my opinion. Feel free to leave yours in the comments. And with that, yet another edition of SoulsBorne Battle to the Death draws to a close. RobertBlanchardBooks.com. If you're interested in the award-winning Roar of a Dragon series, you can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. If you'd like to hear more about them, the Rise of Dragons podcast, wherever you find your favorite podcasts. My Linktree, my Instagram, my Twitter, all Bobby's World 2110. Mondays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is the Why do I keep doing that? I think it's like the second or third week in a row I've said SoulsBorne instead of Dark Souls. Dark Souls Remastered No Estus run. We have finally made it to the Demon Ruins. And as such, if you've played the game, extensively at all, then you will know that I ended up having to tangle with Steathless Discharge. And it is not a win or bust episode, so you can probably figure out how that went. And if you want to know how I dealt with him so easily, then I guess you're going to have to watch the episode, huh? So yeah, that's where we are right now. And Wednesdays, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is SoulsBorne Battle to the Death, which you're watching right now. So I don't really have to describe what or how or whatever that is. So yeah, that's what we have to look forward to on the channel. There's 2 new Hunger Games up, Bobby's World Hunger Games, if you want to check those out. Some interesting developments there. Story progresses pretty well, I will say. Some very amusing developments there. The Your Father Story episodes are out. There's 3 of them. I think there will be a new one coming up pretty soon. I think I'm going to do a new one very shortly. So yeah, if you want to learn more about me and what I'm showing my boys, I'm talking to them about life and things like that, go check that out. So yeah, that is what I have going on the channel right now. Busy like a bee, as my 3rd grade teacher would say. Fun times all around. At least that's what I try for around here. So yeah, leave a like, subscribe, notifications, and all that nonsense. I appreciate your love and support very much, and it's what helps get me through the dark times, I guess I will say. There have been some of those lately, but I'm pushing on through. I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel. Just speaking of certain things in my life right now, life itself is good. Family life is always good. I love my family very much, so it's always a plus, I would say. But professionally, I think there's a light at the end of the tunnel coming up very soon. So that's something to look forward to, I think. So yeah, I think perseverance is the key here, and I think the key to happiness as well is sometimes just pushing on through and just putting on a brave face and just doing the best you can. I think that's all you can really do. But along the way, I think you gotta be positive and Spread love wherever you can. There's just not enough of it in the world. There's so much hate right now. It's so bad. It's just not good. But yeah, I think that's a lesson we can all live by and try and strive for. So yeah, I guess that's all I really have to say to you right now. So thank you for all that. Thank you for your love and support. It means the world to me. So I hope everyone has an amazing week. Be well, stay safe, and as always, it's Bobby's World, and you're all just living in it. See, I'll see you for live, y'all. Bye.
Hey, boss.
Yes, Courtney.
Mrs. Anderson called. She wanted to order several copies of your books for family and friends.
Oh, that's amazing. Get some ordered, have them sent over to me, and I will sign them for her. I really appreciate it if you could do that for me.
I didn't know you were an author.
You did. Courtney, you've been with me for like 2 years now, and we've talked about it fairly constantly, and there's an ad at the end of every one of these videos.
Well, that doesn't mean that I listen to everything you tell me. Are the books any good?
Well, readersfavorite.com said that its intensity rivals that of the Game of Thrones series. I know, that's pretty crazy, but that's exactly what it says. It's on the Cry of a Raven review. Go check it out.
Well, that's pretty cool. What are the books about?
It's about a soldier who gets exiled for saving a baby dragon, and later he's killed, and he wakes up 3,000 years later with strange powers, and he's watched over by the very same dragon. And the world has been overrun by evil, and he now must travel back in time to stop the evil that started in his own home country.
Wow, that sounds interesting. How can I get copies of the books?
Well, you can go to robertblanchardbooks.com and order your copies there. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast.
You have a podcast too?
You know what, Courtney? You are doing such an amazing job that I think you are due for a raise. How does that sound?
Oh my gosh, that's so awesome. Thank you, boss.
You bet. Too bad the raise is going to be when I raise a water balloon over her head and just... Maybe I'll wait until her mom calls. I think she'll find that pretty funny. Go to robertblanchardbooks.com right now and get your copies of the series that got 3 5-star reviews from readersfavorite.com, 3 Author Shout Recommended Reads Awards, and 2 Literary Titan Silver Awards. You can read the first 3 chapters of each book there for free, read more reviews, short stories, and much more. And if you want to hear more about them, you can listen to the Rise of Dragons podcast wherever you find your favorite podcasts.